Alright, what it is, y'all. Today we're gonna do an oil change of my brother's 2006 CRF250r. We're gonna use good oils. I remember back in the day I had 80s and my pops was like, get this oil right here. You don't need to use the expensive oil. Just get this lawnmower oil. But then what happened was it started smoking like crazy, just spitting out black stuff. You don't want that, you know. You want your engine running top quality. So I'm not saying this is top quality, but probably is. This is the best stuff right here. Pro Honda 8085 for the tranny. Engine 10W40, same brand. We got an oil filter for the engine right over here. Good stuff. It works on CRF150, 250, and 450. So all of them. And some basic things you'll need is oil catch can. You're not gonna just be draining it out in the sewers or whatever. The fishies probably gonna die if you do that. And not environmental friendly. Obviously you need one of these. This little cheap thing, a funnel, will help you out so you don't have to drip oil all over the place. Stay clean. There's basic tools. It's a simple job. I'm just doing a little video for you guys if you want to check it out. But you need an 8mm, 10, 12, and that's it, I think, right? That's there. 12, 10, and 8. And we just got two 10s. Got a little confused. And then you'll need a hex key. Don't have the key like this. We just have a whole tool like this, but this is gonna be a 10 also, 10mm. All right, let's get started. All right, so get a towel, throw it under. If something drips, it just drips on the towel instead of the cement or whatever floor you got. Get a pan, put it underneath. I mean, obvious. First thing I'm gonna do is remove this protector right here, or whatever it's called. That way you could remove the filter without struggling. So it's a 10mm. Remove that. Set it aside. So get your wrench or ratchet, attach your 12mm socket. This is a 1/4 inch, so it's pretty small. It's gonna be tough getting it off. Sometimes somebody tightens it hard. It's gonna be our first oil change on this puppy since we got it used. So let's see how tight it is. Not too tight. So this is gonna be your engine oil that we're draining. Just go like this. I don't even see a washer, but I don't know. There should be a washer there. No? Maybe not. Should be. Yeah. Just remove it. I didn't see a washer. Oh, recording me right now. Yeah, this oil has, how many rides did you ride on this puppy?
3.
3 rides.
Plus the old owners.
Still tastes pretty fresh to me, so I mean, but as you can see, it's due for one. It's not too bad, but still, rather have it clean and you know it's good. You want to get all the parts out, so kind of just wiggle it around. See? You tilt it to one side, some more comes out. And that's why we had that towel right there. I mean, this isn't like a car engine, so you gotta try to get as much oil out as possible because not a lot goes in here. If you miss a couple, that could be, you know, say 10-20% of the old oil that you leave inside. Alright, so that's pretty good right there. Set your bike back on the stand. So here's the drain plug for the engine oil. When we took it off, there was no crush washer. My theory is there's supposed to be one down there. Anything for, you know, draining oil or something like that, you're gonna want to seal it up a little better than just a bolt. So here we got a copper crush washer. It's not the Honda one, but this should still work. So when we're tightening it, if it's like this, we're just gonna center it and then set the bolt torque to spec. So we're gonna install the crush washer because we believe there should be one. I don't know if it came like that from the factory or not, but in general, the theory is you'll think there's supposed to be something there. Alright, so now it's nice and centered. And we just gotta tighten it up. Again, this is just a drain bolt. You don't need to torque it crazy. And not too loose, obviously. And that's good right there. Alright, so we have the drain bolt for the transmission down here under the shifter, as you can see right there. And that's a 12mm. So I'm gonna crack it loose. Oh. There you go. And as you've seen, when you crack these bolts loose, make sure your knuckles, if you don't have any gloves on, if you hit something, you could easily hurt yourself. So just be careful. And while the oil is draining for the tranny, you could go ahead and get an 8mm and take off your engine filter, oil filter, crack them open. This ratchet is pretty whack. The little teeth inside are all messed up, so I'm struggling here, but still could easily get it done. Bam. Bam. Get a rag. Oop, and there's a little spring. I knew that was gonna happen. Make sure you get that spring. And there's no oil even inside, so we're good. Set that down. Alright, so here's the whole assembly with the engine oil filter. You got the spring. You remove it and just set it aside. Make sure you don't lose it. You'll have to reuse it. And then there's two sides to the oil filter. There's nothing on here. This just goes on as an O-ring and it's part of the filter. So I'll make sure we match them up. There you go. And it's also dummy proof, it says. This side and spring towards engine. So when you put it in, the spring will be sitting inside like this. And we pop it in like this, and there's a groove inside if you want to record that. Lower. Right there. You see that groove? That's where the spring is gonna mate to. So, as you see, I'm just trying to explain it a little. So, this is old one. Get rid of that, we don't need it. Got the rubber O-ring, part of the filter right there. Kind of seat it on. Get the spring. It doesn't really sit in that well. So you're gonna have to do your best to have it sitting nicely and make sure it mates correctly to that part of the engine. And last but not least, make sure when you take it off, you don't damage your outer O-ring right there, so where it seals up. There's only one way this could go on. So have it on like this. Pop it in real quick. If you try to mate it this way, as you could see, the housing doesn't match up this bolt, and look at the bottom one. Go record from this side. It doesn't match up right there. So you're just gonna have to twist this housing and bam, now it matches up and it only goes in one way. Get your top bolt, the long one, install it with your hands. Start the thread. Then your bottom one as well. And start the thread. If your hands are oily, wipe them down real quick before you proceed so they don't slip. Burp if you need to. Just ate some day-old pizza. So don't feel too good. You need to take a little bathroom break. You tighten this like so. Don't tighten one bolt too much. Do them in an evenly pattern. Just to prevent any damages. You want to be, man, this ratchet sucks. That's what Craftsman gets you. Chinese brand. Again, you don't need to tighten this with all your might. You just keep tightening until it strips. JK. Just like that, a little bit. but not too loose. As you can see, it's all snug and nice. Wipe it down, you're good to go. All right, so the tranny just got done draining. We replaced the engine filter. Now it's time to put in the bolt for the transmission and plug it up. So on this one, we actually had a little washer. So we're gonna reuse this one. Under the shifter again, slide it in. Start the thread with your fingers once again. You get your 12mm socket. Start spinning. For those that don't know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. I'm sure you guys are smart enough to figure that one out. Again, this is not some kind of torque needed bolt, even though if you look on the manual, there are torques for every bolt, but it's a piece that you don't need to torque down too much. Just snug it nicely and torque it down to a good power. Just don't over torque it. All right, so now we're gonna fill up our fluids and our oil. So here's the oil, engine oil filter.
You mean dipstick, dude?
Yeah, that's what I said. But yeah, the dipstick for the engine oil. When you take it off, make sure again your O-ring is okay. This puppy should be reused quite a lot. It never gets really damaged, but make sure it's all good so then it doesn't flow out just in case. Here's your dipstick. So we're gonna pour in about 600, what is this? Milliliters. Use your funnel. As you can see, the bike is on the stand and it's tilted a little bit, so it's easy to fill it up. Go like this. Maybe you want to come on this side. The higher you go, the better the aerodynamics of the fluid that goes in. Whoa, I'm just playing. So don't do that, don't mess around. Just a little tip and trick, if you tilt the bottle, it doesn't just, you know, jump around the fluid and it goes down nice and smoothly. So you gotta keep going. So we're gonna do 600 milliliters again, and then we're gonna recheck. Gotta have at least some in there so you could start the bike freely. And we're gonna check the level right now before we start it up. So it's at least, you know, 80% to what we need. Because it might say like full right now, but once we start it, the engine oil will suck some in, and we'll get the bike through all the passages, and then you might need to add it again, so. All right, so after filling up the engine and setting it somewhat to spec or getting close to your spec, what your engine needs, we're gonna go ahead and fill up the transmission fluid now. So we're gonna take off the cap so there's gonna be a nice airflow going through, so when you fill it up, it will be easy. You could fill it up through here, but it takes a little bit of time until it settles down, so we're just gonna use the hex key, the 10mm, pop this cover off. And we're gonna fill it in this way. And as you can see, there's your gears already. And again, there's an O-ring right here, make sure it's not damaged. And if it is damaged, you're gonna have to replace it. Set your catch can underneath. We're gonna have to use it again. We're not gonna use the bottle filling technique. We're just gonna put this in like so. Get your tranny fluid, pour it into the funnel. Keep pouring until it starts coming out. I'm gonna try to go like this, hopefully it doesn't drop. And you're gonna have to get the bike leveled, so if you could help me out. Yep, just hold it like this. And just keep pouring. You can see it coming out slowly. I'm gonna stop right there. As you can see, there's a nice little stream going, and now you just plug it back up. Again, this is going to be our first attempt to setting the oil level. After all of this, the engine and tranny is all filled up. We're going to go on a little test drive. Nothing crazy, we're not revving it up, just so the fluids are all flowing through. Then we're going to recheck the levels, make sure they're where they need to be at. So nothing crazy, tighten it up. Make sure you get your fill plug, tighten that up. And there you have it. It's not really supposed to be smashing on it like that, but it's okay. But yeah, just don't kill your equipment, take care of it. He's about to come back and we're gonna check the oil level. Alright, so after just warming up the bike, make sure the fluid go through the engine and transmission. We're just gonna recheck the levels. Make sure they're okay before we set the bike and start riding it fully. So we're just gonna pop this cover. And we should add a little bit more. Alright, get your funnel inside and slowly fill again until some fluid comes out. Starts streaming down. And there it goes. And that's good right there. And just plug it up. Alright, so transmission is all set now, and now we're gonna check your engine oil level. So take it off, wipe it down, put the dipstick back in. Make sure your bike is level, that way you know your oil level is perfect. And as you could see, it's set perfectly the first time, so we're good to go. Make sure all your plugs, your drain and transmission are all tight to spec and it's not leaking. Just double check real quick. We're good, so now you can enjoy and just ride your bike. Thanks for watching and take care.